Hi and welcome to Ruck N Roll, your weekly look into Sri Lanka's schools rugby. You're watching us on PodHub, the Facebook page and the YouTube channel. Here's a look forward to the show we have for you. As always, we start with looking at what happened over the weekend. And we're looking back on the weekend's fixtures with SIAT. The road is yours.
SIAT Car Radials. The road is yours.
Our first match of the season that we're looking back, it was Science hosting Trinity College. And Trinity College still with very much a lot to do to get to number 2 in the Group 1A division. So they managed to do one step and get towards that goal by beating Science College 36 points to nil. Science are not a bad side and this was a big score as far as they're concerned. So Trinity have done well. They scored 6 tries, converted 3 of them. And most importantly, from a Trinity point of view, they didn't let any points in. So their discipline was great. Also, their line defense held, and that's something that's going to look really good for them if they manage to get into the second position in Group 1A and advance into the Super Round. That's going to be something really to look forward to, a good performance by Trinity on the day. Another team that's desperately trying to hold on to their number 2 position in Group 1A, St. Thomas's, they took on Dharmaraja, and this we said could have been a bit of a banana skin game for them, but Dharmaraja came out, managed to score 2 tries, which will disappoint St. Thomas's, because 46-12 may look like a bigger score, but honestly, from a coach's point of view and from a purist point of view, 36-0 is a much better score to have if you're someone who's concerned about defense. But St. Thomas's still managed to score 7 tries, managed to convert 4 of those and put over a penalty as well. So they're keeping their progress towards Group 1A and into the second round still on track. Of course, they have that big hurdle against Isipatana coming up next week. In other matches, we had Zahira taking on Thurston, and as the season wears on, Thurston are going to get hit with injuries, they're going to get fatigued, and that's exactly what happened. 28 points to 13 against Zahira. Zahira getting a bonus point and converting all the tries in that as well. So they'll be very happy with that win, because I thought they'd get a few more wins, but somehow they have managed to get this win under their belt. So they'll be very happy with that, but unfortunately not the kind of season that Zahira were hoping for. Then we had what I thought was the match of the weekend. It was a really superb game in terms of entertainment. Of course, we had a much bigger, higher stakes game, but this one really served a lot of entertainment on offer. We had 2 tries for Vidya, the 4 tries for Wesley, so that's a bonus point for them as well, and showing just what could have been in this Wesley season. The Double Blues had come so close against the big teams, but just couldn't get over the line. But Vidya also scored some superb tries, both teams keen to run the ball, and we saw the outside backs, the wingers getting the ball on the flanks up in Nittavala, and it was a really nice game to watch. Tries scored on the outside and with the forwards as well, a 6-try game, and that was really fun to watch, and I thought that might be one of the best matches of the season. Ended up being exactly that. Then of course we had Isipatana taking on St. Anthony's, and again St. Anthony's a team that are fatiguing as the season goes on. They don't have as much depth as they would like, but Isipatana winning that one by 30 points, or 38 points to 8, a victory for them, and 6 tries they scored with 4 converted as well. St. Anthony's managed to get a consolation try in under their belt, so they will be happy about that. But again, a season to forget for the Antonians. DS, of course, as you know, went through and almost managed to do the unthinkable by beating Isipatana and remaining unbeaten 4 games in a row. Unfortunately, that slipped up for them, and as a result of their losses against Isipatana and St. Thomas's, they find themselves having a mountain to climb to qualify. They need to have a result against Trinity going in their favor. They need to have St. Thomas's results going in their favor. But what they have done that they can control is score a massive 12 tries, 76 points to 10 against a poor Sri Sumangala outfit who are really no match for this A division at the moment. And you have to feel for the lads who come through and get smashed week after week after week. It's not doing their confidence any good. It's not doing the school's program any good. And you have to ask whether the administrators really need to rethink the amount of flack that some of these schools like Thurston and Sri Sumangala are taking at the hands of much better conditioned teams. 55 points to 5, so all 5s on the scoreboard when Kingswood took on St. Joseph's Kingswood. Their rugby program has just disappeared as well over the last few years, which is very unfortunate. And St. Joseph's coming through and playing probably their best game of the season. They scored 9 tries, converted 5 of them. Ivano White starting the game with a little bit of trepidation and coming through and managing to win a Man of the Match award. It was a really good performance from him as the game wore on, and perhaps St. Joseph's as a team will take a lesson from that as well. But 55 points to 5, a very convincing win for the Joes. And then, of course, we had Royal taking on St. Peter's. That was the match of the weekend. We were looking forward to that. Everyone was looking forward to that from the start of the weekend. And unfortunately for a lot of the neutrals, and of course for the Royal fans as well, it ended up being a really damn squib in the first half, because St. Peter's had put this match to bed at half-time. But for Royal, to their credit, they came back, they fought back in the second half, managed to score 3 tries, and ended up looking at a deficit of only 31 points to 22. But another outstanding performance from the outside backs of St. Peter's College. We foretold you on last week's show that it would be Royals forwards against the Peters backs, and that's exactly what it was. The Royal forwards managing to come back and score a few tries, but unfortunately it was too little too late because St. Peter's had done the damage in the first half. So congratulations to St. Peters, who remain with Isipatana, the only 2 unbeaten teams in both sides of the draw.
Fiat Car Radials. The road is yours.
As you know, on Ruck N Roll, we bring in the people that matter and ask them the questions that matter as well. We have with us today the president of the Sri Lanka Society of Rugby Football Referees, a body that has been in the news over the course of this rugby season so far. Mr. Dinka Peiris has joined us. He's a busy man, so he's joined us from his car. Good evening, Dinka. Great to have you with us.
Thank you, Shanaka. Thank you for the kind invitation. Sorry you invited me a long time ago, but I couldn't make it, so I hope we can do a nice one today.
Yes, absolutely, Dinka. How do you feel the season has gone so far? Of course, we had that one incident, but since then, how do you feel things have come back to normal almost?
Yes, I think a challenging year than the previous 2-3 years, I would say, as a start. Very much competitive games. Each and game is very much competitive, especially the top level tier games. After the incident, I think we came back strongly. We had to go through certain mental toughness programs to come back, but I think as at now we have failed well. In between was a couple of issues we had, but I think I may be incorrect saying, but it's again part of the game.
Yes, of course. I don't think anyone expects the referees to get everything right all the time, Dinka. But in terms of, we were speaking to some other people who know a little bit about refereeing on the show previously, and we were talking more about knowledge of the laws versus application of the laws. What is your response to that?
Yes, we have 11 referees in the tier 1. The law is same. Law cannot be different to one referee to another referee, but certain times we have seen how it interprets, gives the public a different feel that the law has been changed. So it's matter of interpretation of the person concerned of the respective law, but though he has interpreted in a different manner, but the law he has taken the decision rightfully. But the interpretation, sometimes the public take it as the referee has changed the law. So that's what I feel.
Yes, and with rugby, Dinka, of course, it's always about interpretation because otherwise you can blow maybe 5 different penalties at each ruck, right? So it's all about interpretation. And then we raise the question with the referee's decision not to have their mics publicly available, doesn't that tarnish the interpretation by the referees? We are left guessing, and if it was explained to us, then perhaps it would be much better just for the referees and for the public and for the players.
Yeah, I do agree, Shanaka. To a great extent, yes, I do agree. The people, the public, the TV viewers or the YouTube viewers, yeah, lost the mic communication. That again, Shanaka, I cannot be giving an more in detail of what really happened, but we had to take a call on that. But certainly, we are looking at it, how we can come back on that. So give us little time for us to work out, negotiate in a better way to come back.
Okay, so hopefully we will have the referees' mics available to us on the commentary as well as on the live feed. Dinka, what about things like safety? The game has become even more difficult to referee. It was always difficult to referee, but now it's become even more difficult to referee with the head collisions and the head contact and the high tackles and all of those situations coming in with the new rules. How have we adapted as a country to that?
Yes. Especially on the tackles, the high tackles, the head to shoulder, shoulder to head, or head contacts. It has become a real challenge for the referees as well, especially since we don't have TMO facilities. So the referee has to make a call then and there. He only have option of consulting the assistant referee to decide what the decision that he is going to take is right or wrong. Of course, he is applying the mitigation factors, the consequences, or the how it happened, the way it happened, the game intents of the situation. So everything he has to apply, but he has only got few seconds to do all these decisions because he cannot take time after time of going through. And if he had TMO, yes, then he has an option. He has a tool to go back and come and make a decision. So it is also a challenging time, but I think what we are getting is right. So now we have a different tool after the game. Sighting officer coming on board, it has helped to make another corrective or collective decision after the game.
And what's the sighting officer's procedure, Dinka? The sighting officer, for people who don't know, is somebody who can watch the game and give a report on something that the referee might have missed through the course of the game. And how long must that be given before?
Yeah, if I am not mistaken, if I am not wrong, I think he has a time of 48 hours. The time of the match is concluded. Then and there he gets the video footage to a pen drive or a CD, so he can go through. He will take notes during the game, and the notes that he will refer to the video references, and he will give his report. If the referee has given a yellow card, if he feels that it should be a red card, he can write as a red card. Or if he has given a red card, I think he can make a judgment saying no, it comes as a yellow card. So the sighting officer, as you rightly said, is there to see what referee has misses, and he's a key factor to assist the referee's decision, to on-field decision, to make his on off-field decision on a sighting report.
Just to be clear, Dinka, does the sighting commissioner have the power to say that a red card should have been yellow or that a yellow card should have been red, or does he only get jurisdiction over issues that the referee has completely missed?
He can take whatever completely misses and whatever decision he has made. He also can make a recommendation. He can say yes, I stand by the referee decision. But purely on what referee has misses, of course he has to take a note. Okay, that's why he has given an option of That's why he's given an option of going through the video and come back.
Okay, and have we had any sighting commissioner reports that have been taken into consideration this season so far?
actually, the citing report doesn't come to us. It straight away goes to the schools association. But I know a couple of games, there has been citing reports gone to the school section.
Okay, and so we'll have to speak to the school section and find out what action has been taken because that is beyond your remit, isn't it?
Yes. And also the appointment is also not by the referee society. Again, subject to correction, the appointment is made through SLR. I think Mr. Vimal Senanayake is heading the citing commissioner's team. He does the appointments and they do and they submit the reports to school association.
And speaking of appointments, Dinka, who appoints referees for the games? Is there an assignment committee within the Referees Society, or is it the Schools Rugby Football Association who are the people that have contracted?
Yeah, constitutionally, even in SLR and school association, the tournament organizers does the appointment. But they both have given the rights to the referee society because who knows the best. And we constitutionally, the president will be the chairman of the referee assignment committee. And I have with me Anil Jayasinghe as the referee manager and also educator. And I have Irshad Kader. He is also level 1 CMO and a level 3 referee. So V3 does the assignments and a committee has given the consent for us for three of us to team up and do the assignments.
Okay, and what about the appointments of match commissioners and match officials or CMOs, Dinka? Because that was a huge problem during the whole Science College issue, who appointed the CMO. So where does that come from?
Yeah, CMO is also part of referee society. The CMO's job role is basically to look at the referee, AR and sub-officials of their performance during the game and to make notes and to have a chat with them after the game and have a review on every Tuesdays. After this session, I am having a review with the referees to see what best they have done and what areas they should need to improve. That's the CMO's job. That is also assignment committee. Commissioner is appointed by the organizing committee. So it is also does not come under referee society.
Okay, so there are two separate officials, everyone watching. Match commissioner is the person who makes sure that all the facilities are in place, and the CMO is the match official who oversees the referees appointed by the referee society. Now, Dinka said that, the CMO's job is to talk to the referee and do a review. But what about in real-time conversation during the game? Is that also allowed?
No. During the game, there is no such thing is happening. But before the game we have a pet talk and halftime also we don't talk but we go to the dressing room and the CM was just pumping him with some fuel encouraging him to do this is what you're doing good, so keep up the same momentum going like that. After the game we have a chit chat plus and minus.
And how do we plan to get more
and the referee has to give a self reflection within 48 hours that what he felt this game was for him. Again, he has to touch on the areas that he did well, areas that he feel that didn't go the way he wanted, the areas that he felt he gave a bad decision or a wrong decision. So he has to come with his honest reports in 48 hours. And that report, we take it with our training and development chairman, Mr. Dilroy, to do the final review.
Dinka, you said that you had 11 A division referees, but in terms of accountability, is there promotion and demotion among those 11 as well?
Yes, there is an assessment committee as well separately. So our reports, we go to the assessment committee and they do the reviews and they definitely there are promotions as well.
Okay. Dinka, what about the Referee Society's future? How do we plan to get more people involved? Obviously, it's not a job that a lot of people want to do. So what is your message to those of you? There's plenty of people on social media who think they know the rules. What is your message to them? How do they get membership? What is the process for them to get more involved in the game?
Yes, the process is we have our website. So from that website, you can log into the site and there is a form to apply. So when we get the application, we, like for example, we get 10, 15 applications at once, and we go through their CVs to see from the document what potential they have, and we do a fitness test, because fitness is one of the key criteria to join in. So after that, when if we feel the potential is there, and we just get him to do, he or she to get him to do some junior games, under 10, under 12, and we see the potential thereafter. Then we get in to do a World Rugby Level 1 course.
Thanks very much, Dinka. You're breaking up a little bit. We lost a bit of what you said there, but thanks very much for joining us. Really appreciate the time, and drive safe.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Shanga. Thank you.
That was Mr. Dinka Peiris, President of the Sri Lanka Society of Rugby Football Referees, telling you that you can apply to be a referee as well. So all the school kids who don't make it to club level, who don't have enough time to commit to training to play for Sri Lanka, to play for a club, to continue their rugby after school, this is one avenue that you can really contribute towards the game aside from coaching. So he told us that there's a website that you can click on, get the application form, download it, and while you're fit, apply, guys. And who knows, you might be at a World Cup final in about 10-15 years' time. So that's Mr. Dinka Peiris joining us. You heard what he had to say to the questions we asked him. Please let us know your comments as well as to what he had to say, so that you know what the referees are thinking and how they are thinking and what their processes are. Let us know what you think as well on Ruck N Roll. As usual, we have my partner in crime, Abdellah Yusuf, to go through what happened over last week and look forward to what's going to happen next week as well. Abdellah, welcome back to the studio. A massive game, obviously, as a Royalist, you must be bitterly disappointed at the result, but a great game of rugby by St. Peter's.
Fantastic. Just thinking of the atmosphere, the build-up to the game, and it lived up to it, isn't it? There was plenty of drama. Royal started off pretty well. They probably dominated the first 10-15 minutes, but it's just that period before halftime was the Peter Wright back three just took the game over and just did too much by halftime for Royal to come back.
Yeah, wonderful runners out there, Abdellah. You have to think that this is not once in a generation, but this is a collection of some really, really good players.
Fantastic. Brilliant running skills. Especially Pasina Bandara, the fullback. I thought his anticipation as well when Royal kicked, he anticipated, he got under the ball in time, which gave him ability to scan the field and identify the gaps, and he did it brilliantly, and then used his strength as well as speed to good effect to pretty much turn the game in Peter Wright's favour.
And are we correct in saying that both these teams, probably the top two teams in the tournament so far, they didn't really create too much. A lot of it came off broken play, a lot of it came off counter-attack. Even the tries that Royal scored, there were a few from their forwards that were pick-and-go tries, obviously, but nothing really manipulated, nothing created, not showing a lot of creativity. I know I'm being a little critical of the top two teams, but is that fair to say?
Yes, it was probably more individual brilliance, especially when it came from looking at it from St. Peter's point of view. But if you look at the build-up towards this game, both these teams, they had a physical dominance against their opponents in the other team. So that's how they probably got through those previous games relatively easy. But when it came to this game, again, that's the kind of rhythm they got themselves into. So it was probably more do the same, not take many chances in such a key encounter. And eventually it came down to a few moments of individual brilliance to seal the game in favour of one team over the other.
Yeah, it was really a match of individual brilliance. Vishen Da Silva with a superb try, Pasina Bandara with another very good try, and Yumit Chehar, we don't talk about him too much, but he's a strong lad and a very fast lad as well, and he finished that try in the corner quite well. Abdellah, I want to look forward to for Sri Lanka colours.
Absolutely, and it's got a very good build as well, got a good boot on him as well. Terrific play, and also he's just got that ability to bring the players around him to create gaps and get them into the game as well. Fantastic talent, and probably the silent hero of that Peter Wright team, you'd have to say. And when you have such talent outside you as well, it just makes your job so much easier.
Absolutely. And Royal, of course, flattered to receive. We expected it to be a really close game, but they looked out of it at halftime, came back when St. Peter's were flagging late on in the game. But did you expect more?
I would have probably expected them to take the opportunities a bit earlier in the game, which they didn't. They got that early yellow card, then they got the first penalty from the kickoff itself. And then there were a couple of other opportunities when they got into the Peterite 22 where they didn't capitalize on. And in such crucial games, if you don't do that, you're giving an opportunity for the opponents to try and make use of it when they do get a chance. And the class team that Peterites did that exactly what they did. So I think Royal just not taking their chances earlier on the game came back to haunt them in the latter part of that first half.
Well, there's two philosophies with selection, isn't there, Abdellah? You've got Andy Farrell, who selected his first 15 all the way through a really tough group in the Rugby World Cup, came up against the All Blacks and the entire team was really fatigued, having played so many minutes and got absolutely smashed. Then you've got other coaches who like to tinker a little bit, bring in new midfielders, bring in new back rowers, change their front rows up and down. Rassi Rasmussen, master of that. So how do you think in schoolboy rugby, how do you think that should go?
I think you've got to get your team combinations right, isn't it? It's not just in school rugby, but I guess at any level of rugby. You can probably in the games leading up to a big game, if you're comfortably ahead, then you can probably sub the players off in the 60th minute or so. But as far as possible, I'm also in on that view that you've got to build combinations, especially in the three quarters, because the coordination is just so important. And in that respect, if you look at the Peterite, the three-quarter line as against the Royal three-quarter line, that was probably the difference as well. True, there were some very talented runners, but the Peterite backs looked much more cohesive when compared to the Royal backs. And I don't only mean with ball in hand, but even in defense as well. I thought there was a little bit of miscommunication between the centers, between the 13 and 14, even in the kick and chase as well. And that's where a couple of tries Royal conceded.
So, not to put too fine a point on it, Abdellah, but do you think some Lions might have spilled a bit of elephant blood on the savannah?
Well, I think it's a bit too early to say. You see, the Royal also generally tend to peak in time for the Rugby. That's during the latter part of the season. They will yet have a couple of pretty tough encounters leading up to that Rugby, but at the same time, Trinity also seem to be hitting a peak from that other group as well. So let's see, there's still a couple of weeks or more to go with some big games. Ask me that question in a couple of weeks and I'll give you an answer.
Okay, Abdellah. So talking of Trinity are really fighting to get through in Group 2A. It brings up the administrative hassle, Abdellah, if they get through. You have to play 3 legs in the rugby, but that's a question to be answered later, if and when Trinity do get through. But we have 2 teams, both Anglican brother schools. We have St. Thomas's and Trinity who are fighting to make it through to number 2. Isipatana are very clear, Abdellah. Let's have a look at Group 1A and how it stands. So you've got Isipatana who are unbeaten. They've got 5 points off each of their wins and they've got 3 bonus points as well. St. Thomas's got a bonus point against Science, which we were not expected to get, but they did manage to get it. So they've got 5 points for each win. So that's 25 points plus 4. They've got 29. You've got Trinity in third place. 4 wins, they've got 5 points each, plus 6 bonus points. So they've got 6 bonus points plus they're losing bonus points as well. So they are in 26. So the bonus points are key because St. Thomas's, if they win against Isipatana, no problem at all. They stay at number 2 and they go through. But for Trinity, what are the permutations of that?
Yeah, as far as Trinity is concerned, they've got to win, period. The bonus
and
point,
if they win, they go up to 31 points.
31 points. And St. Thomas's will then have to definitely win their game against Isipatana because even 2 losing bonus points will not help their cause because then Trinity and St. Thomas will be on equal terms and then it will be head-to-head.
Yes.
So the fact that Trinity beat St. Thomas in the very first game of the season will give them the advantage in terms of making it to that super round.
Absolutely. So there you have it. Anybody from St. Thomas is watching. If you want to get this communicated much more clearly, that it was communicated to Mark Boucher back in, 2003 or something. St. Thomas's absolutely have to win. They cannot get 2 losing bonus points, 1 for a 4 tries and 1 for being within 7 points, and lose to Isipatana and still go through. Not going to happen if Trinity just win. Trinity don't even need a bonus point. They just have to win, and they are through if St. Thomas's don't win. But there's another team in the running as well. Say the unthinkable happens. St. Thomas's and Trinity both lose to Isipatana and Dharmaraja. Then what does DS have to do after?
Yes, if that scenario does happen, DS, if they can get a win plus a bonus point, they will move up to 30, isn't it? So St. Thomas's in that respect will have to lose without getting a bonus point. Then they would move to 30. But if they do get a losing bonus point, and on the assumption that Trinity lose their game as well, then again St. Thomas's and DS will be on equal points, and then again it will come head to head, which will favor the St. Thomas.
Yes, so if St. Thomas's lose to Isipatana, but do get 1 losing bonus point, if Trinity lose to Dharmaraja, which is unlikely, and if DS win with or without a bonus point, or win with a bonus point, both St. Thomas's and DS will be on 30 points, which means that St. Thomas's will advance because they have the head-to-head advantage there. But for all that to matter, Trinity will have to lose to Dharmaraja. Dharmaraja, if lots of Thomian fans will be supporting you on that day because they don't want you to give away at least a bonus point and they want you to win that game as well, and so will a lot of DS fans. It's probably the most support that Dharmaraja are ever going to have for a first 15 rugby game. Looking at the last few places, Dharmaraja in number 5, they'll want to try and maybe get to 20 points or so, or close to 20 points in the season. That'll be a decent return for them. Science, St. Anthony's and Sri Sumangala. Trinity looking deadly. Abdellah again. Science College just didn't let them trouble the scorers at all. That was a good performance from them.
Yeah, that's right. It took us all by surprise, isn't it? I think last week during the show we were talking in terms of that being a potential banana skin for Trinity, but I thought that they did really well to keep a clean sheet as well. So it's a team that's on the rise, and St. Thomas's, I think, will probably need to definitely get a win against Isipatana to ensure that they do make it to the next round, because it's going to be hard to see Trinity slipping up against Dharmaraja up in Kennedy.
Yes, that's going to be a tough one. So St. Thomas has everything to play for. Of course, this Isipatana Green Machine is not one that gets unraveled easily. Let's look at Group 2A, how it stands after St. Peter's and Royal. That big clash, of course, has put St. Peter's 7 points clear on top, but that doesn't take anything away from Royal. They will still proceed as the number 2 team. And you have to say, Abdellah, even though they played each other, Wesley and Vidyartha, and they played each other in a very entertaining, close game, you have to say that they would really be contesting for number 2 in Group 1A if they were there.
Yes, you'd have to say so. 2 very talented teams, and both teams which like to throw the ball around and play with a bit of flair. Yeah, it's a tough one for both of them, but it would have also been interesting to see how they would have adjusted against the styles of the teams in that other group as well. But both those teams can take a lot of heart with the way they played this year, but they just came up against 2 teams that are a bit too physically dominant for them, and I think that's the difference why they are in 3rd and 4th place and not amongst the top 2.
Mm-hmm. Rugby is a physical game, in case you hadn't noticed, and that's what's keeping St. Peter's and Royal perhaps a shade above the rest. Isipatana are a really tough team as well, so they will tough out whatever physicality you bring at them, but how much conditioning difference is there in the top 4 teams? That's what we're going to have to find out as we proceed to the second round, which will be after this week's fixtures. So Abdellah, everything to play for. Group 1A is still not decided, and that's going to have a lot of permutations, and we'll be out with our calculators watching next weekend's games.
Yeah, definitely, and that's what you want, isn't it? And you've got to remember that these are the fixtures that were postponed from that week when the referees decided to abstain from refereeing. So it's a delayed fixture, but it has also brought a bit of excitement into the league. It's not a formality, which is just what you want from an overall league perspective.
Yes, maybe that break was a blessing in disguise to some of these teams. Perhaps DS are not thinking that too much because they're the ones who may have suffered mostly as a result of that, because they were peaking nicely, 3 wins out of 3 when that break happened. But such is life. So thanks, Abdellah, for joining us. See you next week after the end of this week's fixtures, and let's see who makes it through to the Super Round. Let's have a look at the fixtures in week 8 of this season's schools rugby. Unfortunately, week 8 is what we had to have in week 4, which of course was a suspended weekend, so we had to move that to the back end of the season, and that's exactly the fixtures that we've got here. How will that postponement have affected teams? We don't know yet, but we will find out after this round of fixtures. Royal taking on Thurston. Now that's a game that they would have loved to have after the Peters game, and that's exactly what they've got. Unfortunately, they may have missed a little bit of match practice as a result of not having this Thurston game, but Royal, you can expect them to rest a few players and to win this one easily. Vidyartha taking on St. Peter's. Now St. Peter's also coming after a big game, an emotional high of that win against Royal, but let's see whether Vidyartha can maybe do something, because they also have a big running team. They also have some nice outside backs who like to run the ball and who are quite powerful. Captain Gayan Pereira is one of them, and I like to see him coming up against Yumit Shihara. That's going to be a nice battle to watch in that Vidyartha versus St. Peter's game, but you have to think that St. Peter's are going to be the favourites in this game. But Sumedha Malavana and his Tigers, let's see what they can serve up in Nittavala. Sans taking on DS Serenayaka. Now DS, all they can do is win this match with a bonus point, score 4 tries, and see whether they can hopefully hope that other results will go against them. Hopefully hope, what's that even mean? Hope that other results will go in their favour. Sri Sumangal taking on St. Anthony's. That's going to be a battle up there in Kandy, and St. Anthony's will be hoping for a win. They haven't had many this season, and they will be desperate for that one. But let's see whether Sri Sumangala can win their maiden match of the season as well. Then, of course, we have St. Joseph's taking on Wesley. That's going to be an entertaining game as well, because I think Wesley have it in them to win this game and win it comfortably. But given the confidence that they've got St. Joseph's from last week, I think we might really see a game of it on the Sunday, and that's going to be a really interesting one as well. St. Joseph's taking on Wesley, and then of course the big clash to decide who goes through in the number 2 position. Isipatana almost guaranteed. Well, they are guaranteed they will go through regardless of who wins this game. But for St. Thomas's, if they manage to win this game, they will hold on to their number 2 spot. But if they lose this game, then they give Trinity and perhaps DS Serenayaka an outside chance of going in the number 2 position. Trinity are best placed because they've got a match against Dharmaraja. They're going to be expected to win that one with a bonus point as well. So maybe they will be able to sneak into the number 2 position, or even if they're equal on points, that will mean that Trinity will still go through. Kings would take on Zahira, and that's going to be a bottom of the table clash between these 2 teams, and both of them will be desperate for a win. And I can't really call it because both these teams are evenly matched at the bottom of the table, and it could really go either way. Kingswood are at home, so you have to think that perhaps Kingswood have the slight edge in this one. That's the fixtures for week 8. Thanks a lot for joining us on Ruck N Roll. We love having you here. We love bringing you this show. So please do send us your comments, send us your videos, send us your questions, and we'll be happy to put them to all our guests and answer them for you if we can as well. Thanks a lot for joining us. You're on PodHub, the Facebook page, and the YouTube channel. Like and subscribe, guys. We'll see you next week. Rock and roll.